Hello, hello, hello. Welcome. So today, I know last week I just spoke to you about how much money I need to retire, but today I'm going to give you a retirement update. It's not like I started last week on this journey, and so you're going to be like coming into the middle of the thing, but just go with me. Every month from now on, I will post a retirement update so you guys can know where I am on the journey because I posted over on Substack under nnekakelly.substack.com. And that's the written version. And now you get the video edition. Yay! So, hey, everyone who doesn't know who I am, and you just walked in and I started talking to you. Hi, when you come in, please say hi in the comments. My name is Nneka Kelly, and I am a Trinity-born sage and oracle. And today I'm going to share with you where I am on my retirement journey. Just last week, I was talking about how much money I need to retire. A few weeks ago, before that, I think on the bucket list video, where I talked about breaking down bucket list items into bite-sized pieces so that you can actually get your bucket list stuff. I talked to you about this dream I have of retiring, not early anymore because it'll be in my 50s, but still earlier than what's normal and what Vanguard says I can, which is 70. so, so I am on this journey. It's my road to retirement. And I shared that there are three aspects that I'm focused on. Most people are very focused on the financial aspect of retirement, having enough money to retire. And that is very, very important. Having attempted to escape corporate three times prior, I know how important that is, not just to have that runway money, but also to consider things like long-term health care. I'm learning from being my parents' primary caregiver that housing is lovely, expenses is wonderful, but the thing that you don't consider is healthcare, especially in the US, because you pay out of pocket for everything. I had an ultrasound the other day. It was $275 out of pocket with my insurance. But if I didn't have insurance, I would have had to, I don't know how much it would have been, quite frankly. I didn't even look at that number. But so it's just to think about the things that would pop up there. So finances is important. But two other things that I am considering in my retirement that I talk about in on my Substack. The first one is physical health. Now, the reason why this is important to me and health in general, not just physical, because my mom is legally blind and because of that, a lot of things are difficult for her. So she can't see enough to cook, but she can't see the numbers on on the back of the thing to turn the oven on. Um, she's not as mobile as she would want to be because she can't see. Also, transportation is an issue because she can't drive herself around to places that she wants to go to. It just impacts so much, mostly your mobility, your ability, it impacts your freedom. And really what retirement means to me is my ability to be free, to move around the way that I want to move around, to have the time that I want to move around in. And so being healthy is a very important part of that. So that's one of the things I track is my physical health. The second thing that I notice is impacting my parents in their golden years is um, their social health. My parents are immigrants. I am as well. We all moved from Trinidad to the US. And a lot of their foundation was I came of age in the US. I came here when I was 16. I did the last 2 years of high school here. So I pretty much I feel like I was acculturized. It's a mix of both, but I spent a lot of time here. I've lived more here than I did back there. At this point in my parents' life, they have lived more here than back in Trinidad as well. But for a lot of the time that they were in the US, they were mm, they connected, but something happened with their community. So They also moved from New York to Miami. And when they moved from Trinidad to New York, they made actually, what happened was a lot of their friends from Trinidad were in New York, like they had moved up there. So they became, they continued those friendships. And then when they moved to Miami, I think that's where they had a big shift because they didn't really have friends in Miami. They have acquaintances, but they didn't have a strong circle. And so when their health, their physical health started to fail and they really needed, um, they needed some backup, they just, they didn't have it. They didn't prepare for that. Also, just socializing, just like chatting with people and having friends. My parents' friends, my mom especially is very, very social. Her whole social network is in Trinidad. So they're not here. And so social health has become very important to me, having community. So also I'm trying to learn what that means to me because I'm also very introverted. But I spoke about this in the bucket list video too, but and I won't belabor it here, but I learned I didn't learn this year that I was introverted. I knew this all along. But this year I really um I'm learning that I have to socialize. What I consider a healthy social circle is it may look different, right? So yeah. So there's yes, of course, the financial, but there's also physical, well, health in general, physical and emotional. And now also I'm concerned about like dementia because my dad is physically in tip-top shape, but has Alzheimer's. And so health, brain health is also very important to me, and social health is important. So let's see where we are. First, let me tell you where I was at the beginning of the year on each. Well, I'll go through each one individually. I'll go through physical health, beginning and end of year, and where I am on the journey, where I want to be eventually, and so on and so forth. Let's do that way. So physical health. Maybe you can tell that I am overweight. I am. I'll stand up so you can see. Um, I am overweight, which I have been overweight my entire life, not just my adult life, but my entire life. Um, but at one point I was able to manage my health. It's not just about the weight, it's really about my flexibility, my mobility, how well I'm carrying, just like will my body last really for what I wanted to do, which is be able to walk freely outside. I remember my grandmother, I don't want to have a stroke or have to have something amputated. I want to be able to maybe walk 3 to 5 miles a day until I die. That's the level of health that I want. That's probably a good marker for it, which means that everything has to be working right. That means my blood sugar has to be good, my liver has to be good, my cholesterol, all of the things internally as well, because if I don't deal with the things internally, they eventually show up on the outside, right? That's what happened with her. She was active, she was walking, all of that stuff, but she did not manage her blood sugar well, and so then she had to have a limb amputated, and then she wasn't able to walk, which to my grandmother was just blasphemy. She was then riding from tears that I got, riding her wheelchair up and down the Martin Boulevard. Yeah, she's that type of person. So I would like to be healthy until I die. Happy, healthy, happy, healthy, happy, healthy. So one of the things at the beginning of this year, we were in Miami and I had not been going to the doctor. Well, I was in 2023, going to the doctor regularly, getting everything checked out. We were on the road to managing my blood sugar, which is way out of whack. I mean, the first time I took it, my A1C was over the levels that they read this was back in early 2023, and it's gone down. So this year, I was able to bring it down 2.2 points. It's, to me, it's below hysterical levels, still not where I want it to be, but I am not like freaked out about it anymore. And it's trending in the right direction. And so at the beginning of this year, I think I was under a lot of stress, living in Miami, being the primary caregiver alone down there. There was no backup there, and just carrying that burden and trying to move us. So that I was trying to move at the same time. So that happened and that cleared up. And getting here to Charlotte now, I for the first year, I think in a very, very long time, I've gone to see all the like teeth, physical teeth, body, and ear, nose, throat, eyes also. I've taken advantage of my health insurance. Um, and so I've gotten some baseline, you can't see my hands, but baseline health, physical health things taken care of. I've also started seeing a therapist because there's a lot of stress. I feel a lot of stress. I know I'm smiling, but you gotta smile. But there's a lot. I'm experiencing a lot of stress um, with what's going on with my parents, and also my whole desire to be living a different life, right? So I feel like I level set this year, if you will, uh, health wise. So my update on that was my commitment for this year was to move for 20 days a month for 25 minutes, or 5,000 steps every day that I do that movement. My overall goal was to run a 5K. That is not going to happen. I don't think it's even going to be a goal for 2025. But this past month, November, I did move 14 out of the 20 days, which is a major accomplishment for me. Next year, I still have December. December is going better. I hope, I don't know what my number is going to be, but I think I can pull off December. I'm really hoping that I can get very much closer to the 20 days. I think I can pull off December. There are 8 more days in December, right? Yeah. So we could do it. And so that's on track. I would like to improve. So that's going to continue to be a goal next year. I think I'm also going to challenge myself to do daily yoga next year because I'm finding now that even looking here, I see that this shoulder is much lower than this one. And I'm like, that feels like a lot of spine alignment, like being out of alignment with my spine. And I like to work on that a little bit, just improve a little bit. So health wise, for the month of November, I did okay. I would give myself, if we were grading in the US system, that would be a fail, right? It's less than 75%. But I think I did well given going from zero at the beginning of the year to 14 right now. I'm trending well, and I had some months where I was like 7. I think in what was it? October. I only did 7 days. So it's getting better. And that's what I'm working towards. That's what I would get towards. The second thing on the list was the social. So I mentioned that I am trying to figure out what that means to me because in my mind before, social health meant that I had a good like 2 to 3 long-term, deep friendships. And I'm realizing that my deep friendships, like my parents, are not local. My friends are all over and probably would continue to be that way. Maybe because I I make friends with people that are interesting to me, right? This is not what friendship is. They're just like interesting to you. They're like your favorite people. And I'm sure out of the millions of people living around here, or the hundreds of thousands, I could find 3 to 5 people, like 2 to 3 deep, friendships, right, that are local. This is one of my obstacles to moving abroad is the local friendships thing. Like, because in my mind, I want people that are close by and eventually like have that golden girls type thing because we're just gonna need to depend on each other going forward. I also did a video on being childless and growing old, so you could check that out too. So my goal was originally to attend one meetup a month so that I could start meeting people. And my goal for the year was to have a brunch circle. In the past, this is how I made friends. Like I would go to meetups, I would have a brunch circle, and then from that, um, develop deep friendships, right? And I thought that it would go that way, but it might take a couple years. It did not happen this year that way. First of all, I didn't get out. I don't go out as much as I used to. I am in house a lot more than I would like, more than I've done in the past. And I'm not going to group things when I go out. I'm usually going on a walk by myself, in the forest, um, just to clear my head and breathe fresh air. And I see people along the way, but I'm not going to what would that be? I'm not going to Lime or meet for brunch or go to an activity. I'm out by myself. So even in November, and I am counting this because I did meet strangers in November. So I'm gonna count my outing, although this is what I did for the outing. There's a group called Black Girls Run, which I used to belong to in Orlando because I was running, right? It made sense. And it helps me to be active because they're not all about running. One of their slogans is your race, your pace. And so if you are a walker girl, you're welcome. But the point is I'm around women who value their health, who want to be active, who are active. And so it's a great group of people. They're interesting people too. But they meet at 7 a.m. on Saturdays, and it's some ridiculous hours during the week. And that's just not gonna happen. And also they meet before and then they go out for 30 minutes and come back in for 30 minutes. So it's a 1 hour walk. But they don't really, sometimes they socialize. Usually I find on the weekend, the Saturday group, they do socialize. But it takes a while to build friendships that way because the point is to get your walk in and then people just leave. Like they come, they get their walk in and they leave. What I did was go, I did not get there at 7 o'clock for the beginning of the run. In fact, I got there at the end. Like I got there around 8 o'clock. They were still standing there and I knew that was going to happen. And because they kind of like hang out a little bit, there's always pictures, right? Yeah, like if you did not take a picture, it didn't happen. This is when I learned to take pictures. Well, so they were there when I got there to walk the trail. I'm very happy I found this greenway in Charlotte. They were there and I did say hi. I did introduce myself. I did learn their name. Um, but it wasn't like a big meet and greet thing. And so I met them and then I went for my walk, right? Um, my goal, and I think I'll keep this goal for next year too, because the other thing I need to do is I want to learn Charlotte, even if I'm not going to be living here long term forever, and I do move abroad. I might still travel. I don't know how this is going to look, but I may even buy a house like from one extreme to the next, right? I don't know. But I do want to learn Charlotte and get familiar with it and figure out like where are the things that I like and so I'm going to keep this commitment for 2025. But in November, that was what I did for my meetup. Now, I'm going to be a little bit more serious about it next year, I think. And I'm a little bit more stringent. I do want to attend like a brunch or a writing circle or something where I'm meeting new people and talking to them and getting to know them. They may or may not be friends long term, but it gets me out and connected, and I learn a little bit about Charlotte, and I get around. So I want to continue to commit that. But in November, I did one, Bailey. And I do not have a brunch circle yet. I think that may be it might come together next year. I did do better in December already with the meeting people and the socializing, but it'll get better next year if I get out. I need to get out. If I want to meet people, I have to get out. And then the big thing that everybody always wants to know. Now, I should have some pointy signs all around showing the numbers, but I keep my numbers closed in the subscription for Substack. I'll talk to you about the three things I track, and I'll tell you about where I am with all of them every single month. But if you want details and you want the nitty-gritty, then become a paid subscriber at on my Substack. It's Letters from Nneka or nnekakelly.substack.com. Anywho, let's talk numbers. So this year, my big financial goal was to pay off the credit card debt. I think I talked about this before too. That was number one. And number two was to invest up to the match in my 401k because it's like money on, like it's like a raise, like, or money that's just left on the table if I don't do it, right? So in November, I tell you, accountability partners work. They do accountability groups work like gangbusters. I joined an accountability group with Exodus Summit in October after I attended the summit. And what I committed to with the group was to chop down $1,500 of my debt, which I did. And now, which left me at $2,500 remaining for the year. And I'm pleased to say that by the end of this week, that $2,500 will be all paid off. So, that's on track. I always find that it's easier. Like financial stuff is always easier for me to do because it's easiest to track. I can't lie about the numbers. I can't fudge it. It's like like the whole meetup thing. I can't fudge it. I'm just like, did you do it or did you not do it? And I'm pleased to say that I did it. I also throughout the year, I also contributed to my 401k. And so that's going as planned. So for November, if you want the details on the numbers, you can check it out in the Substack. But that's coming along nicely. The other thing, and this wasn't part of my goals for this year. The feeling that I wanted for this year was to level set. Like let's just get to ground zero, right? Let's just get some basic things in place. Let's get to a place where we want to live so we can start getting out and meet people. We did that at the beginning of the year. Let's get my health level set. I did that. Let's I did better than level set my finances. I feel like I have let's eliminate the debt so that we can start putting that money into savings and investing it. And let's not leave money on the table with the job. So that all happened. But something else happened this year, which was unexpected that I've started to track. I call this my non W-2 income. And what I do for non W-2 income is I take 10% of my 401k money because it should really be 8, right? No, I'll do 10 because like I discussed in the how much money do I need to retire um, video, that will be my withdrawal rate for that. I expect that that money increases by more than 12% per year. So even if I take 10, it will not deplete it. It will just, when I say more than 12%, it averages 15. It might go down to 12. But if it averages 15, I won't deplete it if I take out 10% per year to live off of. So I track my non W-2 income. That's definitely one of the pillars of it. For my monthly non-W2 income from that cash. Should I tell you the number? Mm, I'll give you the total amount. I won't give you the individual pieces. So that's in the written update on Substack. The thing that I started to do that was not on my radar at all was that sometime in June, yeah, in June, I started trading. June is the 6 month. Yes, in June I started doing options trading. I hadn't expected to do this at all. I was just because I was so focused on the on reducing the debt, but I took a small amount of money to practice options trading. I've done paper trading before. It was ineffective. I do different things when I paper trade. But when I'm trading real money, that's when I can feel my emotions. I could, pay attention to how I'm moving with it. I can really gauge how the market is moving and how I am moving with the market, if that makes sense. I have an energetic connection to it. I'm very big into energy. You learn this about me going forward. And so I trade with real money. I don't trade with um on paper. And what I did was I had some cash in the market. I had some money in the market before in some mining stock. And I slowly sold the mining stocks and used that as my collateral for the options trading account. So I think total what I've put into the options trading account is about $5,000. I know the exact number. And then when you look at when you take a look at the retirement update, you'll see the numbers that of where I am right now. My goal with options trading is to increase that account um, for my options premium to be 10% per 30 days of whatever I trade, whatever I put into collateral, that I make 10% on that amount that I dedicate to trade. So I'm not there yet. I'm probably at about 5% right now, between wins and losses. But I've been doing it consistently for the past December, end of December will be 7 months. And I've been learning again, when I'm trading with real money, I'm learning how I'm moving, right? So I've been learning and paying attention to what triggers me, how I make moves. I've been establishing disciplines for that. You could read about the disciplines. Yeah, it's in one of my retirement updates as well. So you could read about that in one of those. And so in the month of November, I did, I increased my portfolio by, ooh, what is the number exactly? Um, I increased my portfolio by 6%, it looks like. Yeah, about 6%. And like I said, my goal will be 10% every 30 days. There's a reason for that. I'll share that in another video coming up. It's just math. So I would like to increase it 10% every um every 30 days. But 6% in 30 days is not bad. And that's 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 very good. I'm not gonna sneeze at that. I'm good. Because sometimes people only get, like you can't even get 6% a year in a savings account, right? So that is going well. So what I do for that is early when I started options trading, I'm just trying to catch you up with everything because you're in the middle of this whole journey. So when I started options trading, I was counting unrealized profit as the non-W2 income. And I learned that that is not a good practice because it's unrealized, right? It's not my money yet. It's not my money until I close that trade or the option expires or it's assigned. So I can't count it until that point. So what I do count now is the difference in the amount between the months. And that would include, I don't count the realized premiums because it's it's not difficult to calculate. It's just that mm, maybe I could do that going forward. Let's see how that works. But I just take the difference between the 2 months and I take half of that. Because if I were to live on this, I would not take out all of the difference because that amount can go up and down. I would only take half to be conservative, right? So whereas with the 401k money, I'm taking like 10% and it grows at 15%, and that's 10% for the year, not 10% for the month. With the options trading, I'm taking the difference between this month and next and last month, dividing it by two, and that's what I count for my non-W2 income for the options trading. So total non-W2 income for November was $340. Don't sneeze at it. Small beginning. The reason that so the $340 is very significant because that covers my dining out for the month. That's how much I spend on dining out, which may seem excessive, but I don't cook, so I just eat out. Part of also the health thing, right? So that's where I was total for the non-W2 income. Again, if you want the details and what I did differently and how I trade and all of that stuff, subscribe to the Substack. It's nnekakelly.substack.com, and make sure you become a paid subscriber because that way you get access to my archives and you see month by month how I have been doing on this retirement journey. If you have questions about any of this, please put a comment, ask the questions in the comments. I will be more than happy to respond, unless it's about the numbers. But I'll be more than happy to respond about it and why I'm choosing to do the things and how I do it. Just put a put a question in the comment. And be sure also to like and subscribe. Did I mention that at all in the beginning? Subscribe over here, like like the video. So what else? What else do I have for the year? So I in the update I talk about the financial, where I am, the debt will be paid off this year. Um, the assets are growing as I like it to go. I'm growing that to that three my number is $500,000 and I am currently at 20 close to 23,000. Again, the exact numbers, you can look it up. Next year, I'm going to be doing a few things differently. I will continue to options trade for sure. I am going to start investing the cash that I was using towards the debt. So that'll be growing. Also, my business, this is a touchy one. So for next year, I would like my business income to cover the business expenses, like to make a profit in business between YouTube, Substack, maybe some consulting clients. I'm not really sure what the mix is going to be or how that's going to work out, but that number is very low. And I just like to kind of see it start germinating. You know, when you have a plant and you have the seed under the soil, I just kind of want to see something come up above the soil in terms of business income and how that will contribute towards the non-W2 income piece of that. So we talked about the retirement update, the retirement journey update, health, physical, emotional, mental health, social health and well-being. We talked about that. And we talked about financial health. If you want the details of it, go to nnekakelly.substack.com and subscribe and make sure that you become a paid subscriber so that you can get all the nitty-gritty financial details. If you just want the overview, you can become a free subscriber and you get the monthly overview there and you get it here too. Either both ways. I am again Nneka Kelly, your Trinity-born sage and oracle. Here, I don't know what I talk about. I talk about retirement and financial independence. There'll probably be some other things, but I'm working on that intro. Please do subscribe and like this video, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye bye.